So apparently, Arsenal played Spurs today, right?
They did in North London Derby. It's always a fun time. I mean, listen, if there's a cure for what ails you, for it's a football club, apparently for us, it's playing Spurs. I don't know what else to say about that, but
Yeah.
sounds like your day got a little Spursy in its own right, didn't it?
Yeah. So it didn't work out for me to watch it live, as it very often doesn't. I tend to prioritize other things over appointment viewing of sports. Is really the only appointment viewing that's even on the table for me at this point in my life, and the world has moved past it for
Say, really for anybody.
Yeah. But yeah, so Eastern time, this match was supposed to be at like 11:30 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and I went to watch it around 3:00 p.m. Not last minute like I often have to on Sundays, but I went to watch it around 3:00. And I went through the same rigmarole as a couple weeks ago. I forget which match it was, but I tried. It was the one right before I left on my trip. So whatever was on the last day of January, whatever that match was. But anyway, so go to Peacock. No mention of it at all. Go to NBC Sports, which, by the way, I accidentally launched NBC Sports first because with the Olympics going on, they don't say NBC Sports in their icon anymore. It's just the NBC, Peacock icon with the 5 Olympic rings underneath it. So I accidentally launched that instead of Peacock because the word Peacock is the only thing that differentiates those 2 icons on my TV right now. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so launched NBC Sports, accidentally saw some thumbnails of celebratory Arsenal players. But I saw the same thing when I went to look for the Wolves match. So I thought that result had been spoiled for me. And it turns out I looked later. If I'd scrolled over to the right, you would have seen the celebratory Wolves players after. So, that at least I was able to easily convince myself I hadn't been spoiled on the result yet, but didn't see it there either. Couldn't find it on NBC Sports or Peacock. Started consulting with ChatGPT to try and find out, like, what's going on? Why am I not seeing replays, same day replays anymore on Peacock or NBC Sports? What's going on? It basically didn't really offer too much help other than confirming, it seems like they should all be on Peacock now instead of the NBC Sports app. But so then I tried my Shabbos Goy approach, where Orthodox Jews who don't like press elevator buttons but live in an apartment in New York City, and things like that are part of their lives that they practically need to do, but for religious reasons don't want to do, will often have a friend, a neighbor who is not Jewish or not observant who does these things for them. They call him a Shabbos Goy. Right. I have a wife who doesn't care about being spoiled on the North London Derby results. And I had her try opening up a web browser and going to the Arsenal page. She wasn't around. She was asleep already when I went to do this the last time. But I had this as an option. Go to the Arsenal page, try and find their full match replay. It wasn't there either. And at this point, I'm not looking yet. There's enough time left. I'm hoping to still be able to watch it. So I don't jump in later on. I went to the Arsenal site too, and I couldn't find it there either. So at that point, I wasn't sure if it was just her not being familiar with Arsenal's page to the degree that I am, or if it just wasn't there. And it turns out, no, it just wasn't there. This match was nowhere. I could not watch the entire full match replay. So I watched the extended highlights. Hopefully that equips me enough for this show, but that was extremely frustrating and just... Why does sports streaming have to be so hard? I don't understand.
So the game was on USA Network,
right?
So right. I know that plays a little bit into when it's available and whatnot. That's kind of unfortunate, which is a shame because the game was actually a lot of fun.
I know. I really wanted to actually live through it, and I was robbed of that by NBC Sports
but
world.
You know what? So, spoiler alert for you, Spurs won, Arsenal 4, 8-2 on the North London Derby this year. North London is red, and in fact, the Premier League, North London may be red because Spurs are very much in a relegation fight, and they do not look good. My goodness. Of course, we were complaining about us dropping points from being up 2 goals to a relegation team in Wolves. Recall that this same relegation-threatened Tottenham team erased the 2-0 deficit to Manchester City a couple weeks ago and drew at home. So we'll talk about that more later.
Yeah.
But this is a game. It's kind of interesting because on the one hand, you could feel good about the chance to get right. On the other hand, I mean, if this doesn't go right, you are in full-blown crisis right now.
Right.
And, well, I have to say, from the Arsenal perspective, I saw the good and the bad.
Okay. So
let's start with the good.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest. Yeah.
Pair of braces. They
Right.
got two goals from two players. Eberechi Eze got a pair, and Victor Gyökeres got a pair. I mean, two of the new signings, two of the guys who have been struggling at points, two of the guys we've really wanted to see on the score sheet. Boy, does Eze love scoring against Spurs. He did it a bunch with Crystal Palace. He got the hat trick in the first game. He got 2 goals in this game. Yeah, it's just a really nice game all around for him. Obviously, a pair of goals, and some really interesting ones too. Gets really just kind of getting himself in position to pounce on loose balls. Gets a loose ball in the box for the first goal. The later one was a kind of a rebound situation, again loose in the box. And I think you hope that starts to see him generate things and start to improve his play, continue to improve his play going forward. They can build on that. Of course, we said that in the last time out, and then he didn't follow it up with particularly good performances. But again, you're kind of hoping. So, but nice to see here in this case.
Let me ask you, looking at the replay of his first goal, the way the ball comes to him, he kind of chips it up in the air with his toe before he then knocks it. Was that a planned move due to the congestion in the box to be able to get it past all those players? Or did he just not take it well and then made the best of it?
That's a good question. I think there's a little bit of intent with that. But I think there is also a little bit it's a little bit of both. I think there's some intent with it, but also a sense of, I'm not in a good position to strike this first time, so I need to do something different, and kind of just chipping it. And once he does so, it now gives him a chance at a volley. So he says, all right, hey, let's just go. That might be it going on. It reminds me a little bit, if I can go back to the hockey earlier this morning, Matt Boldy kind of passed the puck through to himself with a mid-air deflection to himself to split 2 defenders and open the scoring. For Team USA, who eventually won gold. I don't know if we mentioned that on the show already. But yeah, it's just kind of little plays sometimes that, reflective of skill and technical ability, and are just really fun to see at times.
Yeah. So that was Eze's first goal. What about, if we're just grouping them together, I guess, what about his second goal?
That was that was much more opportunistic. Saka's driving into the box, a good pass from him to get the play started. I don't remember exactly, was there a collision? Was it a rebound? The ball kind of bounces out in the box, and there's Eze to kind of grab it. He takes one touch and then just puts it into essentially a gaping net at that point. And it's, at that point, made it 3-1. We'll talk about the second and the fourth goals in a second. Made it 3-1, and it wasn't over at that point, but at that point, it really did kind of feel like, okay, I think we might be able to pull this one off.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I'd say, so if Eze's goals really are about this kind of technique, I think Gyökeres' goals are one of his great strengths, which is just power.
Yeah.
I mean, he kicks the ball hard.
There's something to that.
Yeah, but I think there is. I think if you look those, the 2 goals he scored, certainly the first one from the 18-yard box was very powerful, and then even the second one, I think, did a really good, a really good finish from close in. The kind of things we want. Again, we talked about signing Gyökeres. We didn't sign him to score 50 goals. We didn't sign him because we needed those extra goals against City and Liverpool. We needed the goals to come in games like this against mid-table and relegation fodder teams. And yes, I'm talking about Spurs. But in a sense, right? This is what he's supposed to be here for. So he's able to make those kind of finishes. He found some space, and we say he found some space. This guy takes a lot of physical beating. It is getting to the point where, I don't know what he has to do to get a foul call against. He takes a lot. It really is, I think, the victim of a lot of clutching and grabbing. And I've speculated, I think, on the show, right? I think some of it is him trying to initiate some of this contact. He likes physical contact. He's a bigger guy, so he feels like he can bully defenders, which you can't really get away with in the Premier League. But I think at the same time, it feels to me like he takes a lot of abuse to the point where it's like, sure, he should be like, this shouldn't be happening this way.
Do you, to what degree do you think it might be the referees kind of looking at him and seeing his size and stature and just thinking, yeah, he's all right?
I mean, that happens a lot. You'll see sometimes bigger guys. Sometimes it goes both ways. Bigger guys have a harder time drawing fouls because of their size. Sometimes they have an easier time because anytime they go down, well, they must have been fouled. It's not like it could have. They must have been a foul. Like it couldn't.
Yeah.
So I think it could go both ways. With that, I don't know. I thought today in particular he was taking a lot of abuse. I don't really want to go on about the refereeing because I don't think that's really necessary in the course of the game. But it is something it feels like I've been seeing a lot. Like it feels like I keep waiting for him to pick up a few foul calls. He just never seems to get them, which I find interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone will pop on later and point out all the times he did actually get calls in his favor, but whatever, we're fans. This is how
yeah, right. And no, there's definitely something to what you're talking about, the ball being so hard hit. I mean, it takes away the reaction time that the keeper would need to be able to do it, because both of those, like he was inches away from getting a hand to it and possibly deflecting it off course, but it was just coming in too hot and just couldn't get to it.
Yeah. So that was the good. Let's talk about the other side of this one, right?
Sure.
So, I mean, the same kind of things we talked about in the Wolves game. Fatigue, leading to poor decisions, not so much bad play, although we saw some of that as well, but fatigue leading to poor decisions, and then that sense of switching off. And I think this is easily a game you could watch. And I hate to be so negative when we win a North London derby, but I do think this is a game. There are a couple of those not quite full sliding doors moments, but definitely a few moments where this could have gone a little differently.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about, this game was 4-1. Their goal came not even 5 minutes after we had scored.
It was a few minutes, yeah.
And Declan Rice was just who overall I thought had a pretty good game. Just had a dreadfully poor giveaway and completely against the run of play. Spurs makes it 1-1, and they end up going into the half at 1-1. For a game that we have completely dominated from start to finish, from that up to that point. And it's kind of frustrating to see those kind of things happen. And there again, you see it rear its ugly head, right? The switching off after goals, the kind of moments where it feels like you're giving it like almost like bad luck. It's not that you turn the ball over, but that somehow that turnover is their one opportunity of the half. And of course they score. And so there's a little bit of frustration there. Now, Gyökeres scores pretty early in the second half. That takes a lot of the pressure off. Yeah. But we're not 6 minutes later, there is Kolo Muani heading the ball into the net, except there's a foul call.
Yeah.
He's pushed off Gabriel, and the referee takes it back.
Yeah, so watching this in the highlights, they showed it a couple times from a couple different angles. It looked like pretty light contact on Gabriel. Did we maybe get away with that a little bit?
I wouldn't say get away with. I'll say this. Kolo Muani makes clear contact. It's a push-off. He gets his arms are fully extended. He's pushing off. That's a foul. Now, Gabriel also makes an absolute meal of it. Like I mean, if we were coming out of the Summer Olympics, we'd be talking about world-class dives in the pool, right? He sells every bit of that contact and ends up getting the call. It's the right call. And Kolo Muani, by the way, was throwing his weight around a lot today. Like he doesn't really get to be too persnickety about what foul calls that were and weren't made. But I mean, I'm sorry, he makes contact. He has full extension on the arms. That's an obvious push off. Does Gabriel embellish the contact? Absolutely, he does. Is there a world where the referee sees that and not the contact and says, it's a dive, it's a goal, it's fine? Yes. So it's a risk on Gabriel's part. But to me, that's the right call. He makes the contact, he gets the push, he makes the push off, and it shouldn't have been a goal. But like we kind of described here, that's a circumstance where it wouldn't have been the wildest outcome for that goal to have stood.
No.
And now all of a sudden you're quickly looking at 2-2 once again. Now, this is what, a few minutes after that, but that's when Eze scores his second. It's 3-1. You can start to relax a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then 84th minute, there's Richarlison.
Yeah.
Rolling the ball towards the goal line. There's Raya with an outstanding save.
Yes.
But you're also kind of asking yourself, why does he have to do that? Why are we in a position where Raya has to make a save like that? And some of that's on him too. Like, he doesn't position himself well and has to sort of scramble around to make the play.
So this is the one where the ball was rolling slowly toward the goal line, and he's able to scramble back just quickly enough to swipe it off the goal line and get it clear, right?
Yeah, on the goal line and sort of pushes it away. Then a little while after that, of course, Gyökeres scores. It's 4-1, and everything looks great. And look, again, maybe this is the other way. We talked a little bit in the Wolves game about how Wolves is in some way a case of bad luck, and the kind of bad luck we saw. I think the United game is a similar. The United game kind of works as a good point of comparison, right? Because against United, he gave up a goal on a bad turnover, and then 2 world-class finishes that those guys will probably never do again.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the Wolves game, world-class finish he may never do again, and then a goal coming off a comical error in the back. Spurs didn't really have that in their toolkit today, which is good. Mm-hmm. And maybe this is just the luck coming the other way. Like, okay, we made a mistake, but the punishment for it was giving up a goal-scoring opportunity, not a goal on their one chance.
Right.
So maybe we were, but it is kind of, I think you can walk out of this game and still feel, I don't want to say feel nervous, but I still think you can walk out of this game and say, hey, there are still some things to clean up. Like we have to continue to improve these, because otherwise this is the sort of thing that's going to bite us at a bad moment. And we saw it against Wolves. Maybe we got away with it today against Spurs, but there's 10 Premier League games left.
Yeah.
There are potential potholes in that road.